Hi everyone. So in today's demonstration, I'm going to be showing how to publish a layer to a simple GIS server instance for sharing with other simple GIS client users. And so to begin with, I'm going to be using the GIS Server Admin plugin. It's a free plugin extension available for simple GIS client. If you need to install the plugin, you can easily do so from within your simple GIS client project. Go ahead and go to your map view actual document, and from the file drop down menu, you want to locate the plugins menu item almost near the bottom. And if you click on this menu item, you'll get the Simple GIS Client Plugins Manager that lists all the available plugins. And the Simple GIS Server Admin plugin is at the bottom. So if you haven't installed it, you can select it, click the Install Now to download and install. And then once installed, I would just recommend going ahead and restart your Simple GIS Client application to make sure the plugin is loaded in. Now, once it's installed, if you have a layer, so in this particular case, I have this county boundaries layer, which is a basic shapefile layer that I've added. Just has some polygon boundaries. And I'm going to publish this layer to a simple GIS server instance that I have. And to do that, I'm going to go to my file drop-down menu. Once you have the GIS Server Admin plugin loaded, you'll have a new menu item at the bottom of the file drop-down called Administer Simple GIS Server. You click on this menu item to bring up this Administer Simple GIS Server dialog. Enter the URL for your Simple GIS Server instance you're connecting to. Click the Connect tool, and you will need to enter in your username and password. And now once connected, we're going to use this Publish Layers button to publish the layer to our Simple GIS Server instance. Now you will need either administrator or publisher rights to whatever workspace you're going to publish this layer to. So I'm going to select Publish Layers. And here are the available layers in my current map. Again, I want to select County Boundaries, and I'm going to select Publish Layer. Next, I'll need to select the workspace that I want to publish the layer to. So in this case, I have two workspaces. Of course, the default public workspace, and then a new workspace I had created called My Test WS for my test workspace. And so I'm actually going to publish to that workspace. And then you just click Apply. And then once it's published, you would notice that the published layer appears here under the published layers. The naming convention is the workspace name first, followed by a colon, and then the layer name. So I'm going to select OK. And that's it. My layer is now published. Now to demonstrate, let me go ahead and remove these layers from my current. And I'm going to go ahead and add in the layer that we just published from our Simple GIS Server instance. So I'm going to come to my Add Data, this new layer to Map tool. And on my options, I'm going to come all the way to the bottom that says Add Simple GIS Server Layer. Again, I would need to enter the URL of my Simple GIS Server instance and click Connect. Yet I'm going to log in. Enter my password. And here are the layers available. It's just, I have just this one layer that I've published on this particular instance. So I'm going to select that layer. And in this case, I'm going to add the selected layer as a live layer, which is really just like a client server layer. This means that I need to have an active internet connection, and will have to maintain that connection while I'm using this layer in my map. If my network connectivity is lost, then the layer will no longer function. I'll probably get an error message box saying it's lost connectivity. And so that is the one aspect of using this as a live layer. It means that you have to have internet connectivity. So for that reason, this is best used in an office environment or somewhere where you have a good network connection. Now, the advantage is you don't have to replicate the layer down to your hard drive, so you do save hard drive space, and you're always connected to see any updates that other users may have made as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and add this layer, and it's now added to my map. I can turn the layer on, and here are the boundaries that I just added. Now notice it just came in with a default legend. So any of these layers, it's just connecting for the data. You still have full control over the legend, label settings, all of that, because all of that is controlled within the project. So if I wanted to change the legend, I can simply double click here on the layer, select a different legend symbol if I want it, and click apply. And that is the nice thing about this is I'm just referencing the server for the data. I still have full control over my legends, visibility, labels, etc. And so just to demonstrate how this works, I have another simple GIS client application running. So I actually have two running. So let me add these side by side. So I want to add these side by side. Just kind of split the difference here between these two screens. And let me go ahead and add that same layer to this simple GIS client application. Again, this is a separate application, so I do have to log in again since I didn't remember my user credentials. And I'm going to add this as a live layer as well. And in this case, I'll just leave my default, the legend as it is. So it'll be easier to see anyhow. But really what I wanted to demonstrate in this particular case, so let me come over here to this instance of Simple GIS Client. Let me just start editing some of this data. So I'll toggle layer edit. And I'm going to edit this polygon. You notice it's got this jagged edge, which you know is not correct. So let's just move this vertex back in. I'm not going to worry about getting it too correct and leave it as is. And let me go ahead and, well, I don't even have to toggle layer off. So in my second instance over here of Simple GIS Client, I notice I still see the jagged edge. But if I was to refresh the screen, if I was to pan the map a little bit, I noticed that it changed. So now it's reflective of the change we just made in this instance over here. Again, this is all going back to the server. So this is just like we have a client server layer. So as we make edits in one instance, it is reflected in the other and vice versa. So again, I can edit features here as well. And if I wanted to edit, let's say, this polygon, and again, let's edit the vertex, and I'll make this, let me zoom in a little bit here so I can see these vertexes better and differentiate between them. So let me just grab one of these vertexes and I'll exaggerate and just drag this vertex out to make a clear distinction there so we can see what's changed. And then on this instance of Simple GIS Client, as soon as I refresh the map, I see that same change appear over here. Now the other thing that you can do, remove this layer for now. We showed how you can add it as a live layer or a client server layer. The other option you can do is you can add this, come back to my simple GIS server instance and select that layer, and I can add it as a replicated layer. Now, a replicated layer actually makes a copy of the data set down to your local hard drive. And what's nice about that is you can use the layer in a disconnected mode. So you don't have to have constant internet connection. So if you were going into the field, you could replicate this layer to your local hard drive and then use it completely offline. And if I was to make edits to this layer, so let me toggle editing, I can edit this layer completely offline. So let me just go back and fix this polygon. And I'm just going to drag this vertex back and kind of fix it. Now, obviously, if I come over here and refresh, I'm still not seeing that change. And the difference is I haven't synchronized back to the server. So right now, everything that I'm doing is completely offline. Now, if I was to toggle editing off, I would get a confirmation box asking me, do I want to sync my layer changes to the server? And I have the option here. I can go ahead and sync changes now. So if I did have an active internet connection, I could go ahead and sync my changes back to the server. If I didn't have a good internet connection, I could always sync later and dismiss the dialog box. Again, since I haven't synced in this instance over here that's actually connected to the server, you notice no change has been made. But if I was to come in here and right click, I could sync layer with the server. So let's say I'm back at the office. I now have a good internet connection and I'm ready to sync my changes back to the server. I could select this option and it would give you a status down here. It did it pretty quickly on that, so that it's noticing complete down here, but normally you would see in your status bar the status of the sync that's occurring. And now on this instance, if I was to refresh again, I notice that my polygon has now been corrected because I just synced this change back. And so this is a good option if you're going to be out in the field, maybe working from a laptop or intermittent internet connectivity. You can use a replicated server, use it completely offline, edit it, and do what you need to do, and then sync your changes back to the server. And so that's all it is to being able to publish your layers to a simple GIS server instance. Gives you a lot of flexibility for sharing data when you have multiple users, like a small team or something that you're wanting to share data with. And even if you have multiple people or users editing the data, it gives you a lot of options and flexibility. So I hope this has been a help. And if you'd like more information, visit our website at simplegissoftware.com. Use our Contact Us page if you have a question. Again, we always love to hear from our users. Thank you.